Hey guys, be sure to press like and subscribe. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the Philippine economy and what's going on over here. And in some cases, it's not going good for some people over here. What's going on is there's a lot of stores that are closing down. I notice in the malls, and it's because of the current situation in the world. And it's hurting people. It's hurting a lot of people out of jobs. I noticed the resorts have cut back on staff by as much as a third to two-thirds or even more in some cases. You know, it used to be you go to a resort and people were waiting on you left and right. There usually be 3 waiters. Now they have what I call a half a waiter. He runs the bar and he waits on you, you know? And it's kind of sad to see that because this is kind of a service country in some ways. And also they got manufacturing and stuff going on, but a lot of tourists come here. And with tourism shut down, they're trying to get people who live in the Philippines to go out and, you know, go on vacation or whatever. And they're not, because most people don't have money, you know, and it's hurting the economy. It's hurting people. I see it with my neighbors a little bit. I see it with people around me. I see it with people in the streets, you know, and it's very sad because as you drive around in some places that used to have tons and tons of stores, I see whole rental places that used to be, you know, renting out. I see them all gone, you know, and they're just totally shut down. The other day I went to Alabang, and we went over there to go to Subway, and when we got there, guess what? They were closed. I'm not sure if they were closed permanently or not. They said that they weren't. They said that they're not able to get some of their ingredients, so they had to shut down. Other people are also telling me that Subways are shut down in other parts of the country too. If any of you guys out there that are watching me live in another part of the country and you guys have Subways there, can you tell me if they're open or closed? I'm really interested in that because I've heard rumors that they may close down Subway totally in the Philippines, and I just don't think that that's true. But because I heard that the one in Manila is still open, and that was, you know, the one near MOA. So I'm curious as to whether that one's open or closed now. But somebody had told me that they had gone there, and I know Red Lobster is still open. A lot of the Western restaurants are still open at MOA, and you know, I'm really getting worried about Subway because it's one of my favorite places to go because you can't get subs here in the Philippines too much, you know. Subs aren't a big deal here. People like pizza, but they're not big into sub sandwiches for whatever reason, you know. But it's funny because wherever there's a Subway, people are starting to get into subs. And I think if they opened up the world of sub sandwiches and tuna sandwiches and cold cuts and stuff like that, I think people here would open up to that more and be willing to try those things, you know, because it's just a food that a lot of people, it's a comfort food for many Americans and Westerners, and even the Filipinos that have been to Western countries. After a while, when you live in the West, you just like going to be able to stop at a submarine's, you know, sandwich place, like, you know, or a pizza place and picking up a couple subs or a pizza or whatever. And granted, they got the pizzas over here, but pizza gets old, you know. I mean, over here they got so many different pizza places, but pizza gets old after a while, you know. You need to change it up. And that's one thing I can say about the restaurant Kenny Rogers is that they mix up their menu once in a while and they make a different type of chicken. And some of these other restaurants, they throw extra things on the menu for Westerners to change up the menu a little bit, which is good, and that's excellent. You know, we also go, like I said, we go to Gringos, places like that, but even Gringos was closed down for a while here. But a lot of the places that are in the middle of these malls and stuff like that have all closed down, you know, and it just seems kind of strange walking around in these places and like anywhere from 15% all the way up to like 35% of some of these malls are all stores where they're all covered up with like a tarp with an advertisement on it. And I did notice that at the Alabang Mall, that some sections are totally closed down or the lights are off in the stores and they're just not keeping the stores open during this because of the lack of customers. And I noticed a lot of the places that were in the middle of the mall, the little kiosks that they rent out or whatever, a lot of those places shut down, and they're gone. And some of them might be gone forever. And some of those are little tiny franchises and stuff like that. And I call them junk franchises because you never see them open for more than a short time. Somebody will open up a cookie stand and you never see them selling cookies, because of what they're charging for the cookies, because they have to pay the mall rent, they have to pay for their electricity, or whatever else they have to, and any franchise fees or whatever. But I see them charging like these exorbitant amounts for cookies, I saw this one cookie place, and I love chocolate chip cookies or oatmeal cookies or whatever, and they wanted $180 for like a small bucket. I call it a small bucket, like a bucket of ice cream, of cookies. They wanted $180 for some homemade cookies, and they got the stuff already there, ready to make in the oven or whatever. And I was like, wow, that's high for a Filipino, because it just is, That's why they're not buying anything. They're not buying them. And I've seen these cookie places go up, and usually within 3 to 6 months, guess what? They're done. They close down. The franchise is over. I don't see anybody frequent these places too much. And I seen a Baskin Robbins. It looked like it was shuttered. Had a big canvas over it with a Baskin Robbins advertisement. Whether they're going to open or not, again, who knows? I seen some other stores that were shuttered. I think Alabang, which is a fairly wealthy section, of the Philippines. It's right near Manila. It's actually part of Manila, I believe. And Alabang, despite having all that wealth, the malls are doing poorly. And when I see the people over there, they're waiting in line to get in. They have to put the app on their phone to walk around. A lot of people are staying home because they don't want to do all that. And the poorer people or middle class people are just kind of tired of it. So they're just not giving into that, and that's their prerogative. I think everybody's getting burned out and tired of all this stuff that's going on in the world. It's not just here in the Philippines. It's in the United States, Japan, India, or wherever else you live. People are tired. They're tired. They're burned out. When we all have to wear masks. I'm in a park and I'm, I think the nearest person is probably about 100 or 200 feet away from me or more, and so I'm doing my social distancing thing here. But here, we have to wear our shields, our masks, and constantly be doing alcohol. Every time you go into a store, they ask you to put alcohol in your hands or whatever. They have a container you can squirt your hands with. And if you walk in the streets, they expect you to have your mask on. In some places they expect you to have a shield. I noticed that in some of the malls, they have some policemen in there, and that's their job. I'm sure they're doing what they're told to do. And they have canes. Now, I don't know what they use those canes for. I've never seen anybody use them. I don't think they want to use them either, to be honest with you. I think, but maybe it's just to intimidate people, to not give any of the guards there a problem. And, I can understand that, but it's the way it is. And they do the same thing in some other countries too. I'm not sure if it's Singapore or what have you. I know some other countries, I forget which country it was. It could be Malaysia or something like that. I'm not quite sure which country it is, but I know other countries are doing the same thing, and it might not have even been for, I don't know what they were for, so don't hold it against me if I'm wrong. But I do know up in Manila, there was a thing in the newspaper that they were caning people if they didn't follow the guidelines. I'm not sure what happened about that, whether that barangay got in trouble or not, or whether they're still doing that, but I know they did do it, and it's just the way it is in the Philippines, Each country has their own rules and regulations, and you got to follow them, and unfortunately, some things are harder harder here than in other countries. In the United States, though, they're getting tough too, where people that have asthma and stuff like that, supposedly they're supposed to be allowed in stores in some states without a mask. And they're being asked to leave so they can't do their food shopping. Because if you have asthma or something like that and you can't breathe, what are you supposed to do? You know? But anyway, guys, just want to talk a little bit about that, about the economy and about the way things are going here. But anyway, guys, God bless, take care, and be sure to like and subscribe, guys. Thanks, guys.